wake up to a dawn that whispers hope, chasing dreams with heart and scope. Unique, it guides us through the strife, building blocks of a better life. Money flows.
Welcome to the Blueprint, where we help you design the roadmap to your best life, whether it's through financial success, personal growth, career development, or navigating life challenges. I'm your host and career coach, Unique, and today we're focusing on investment, a key tool for building long-term and short-term wealth. I'm excited to have two incredible guests with me. Devona, a retired accountant and a full-time day trader with expertise in wealth building strategies, and Kirk, an investment professional with over 15 years of experience. Together, we'll guide you through simplifying your path to financial freedom and learning how to make your money work for you. So let's get started.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right. So, guys, why investment?
Investment basically changed my life. Let me look at life differently. Many years ago, I used to work as a 9 to 5 job, and really just something I just never liked the feeling. My future was in someone else's hand. So I decided to, hey man, I'm gonna take this risk, go out there and change my life. It wasn't easy at first. There's a lot of failure to get to where I'm at right now. I failed my way. I like to tell people I failed my way to success. Right. And that's my story. Yeah.
I absolutely understand that. For me, growing up in New York City, what we call like the ghetto, the poor, I just was really starting to realize that, hey, I see my family work hard. Like people have 3 jobs and we're still not making it. And then I realized, investing, I guess the way I like to put it, it just outpaces inflation, right? And I feel like inflation is not something that's incorporated into our family conversations. So you think, hey, if I can get another job or I can find the perfect job, then I should be able to be okay. But the truth is, it's not. And investing is super important.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with you because I grew up in the inner city as well, and I've never heard anybody speak of investment. And so being in the inner city and seeing everyone around me just living from hand to mouth, you work the money, you spend the money. I wanted something different for myself. I wanted to create that generational wealth for my son. And that's when I started to learn, especially after I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad and
Yeah.
understood exactly how, so my parents was like the poor dad, how can I change the way that I think, the way that I approach life? And that's when I started to look into investment. I'm no expert, but I definitely know that I'm not going to be one of those people that work the money and then spend it without even saving a dollar from it. So that's good. How did you get started? Like, what was the first point of this is what I'm going to do? How did you start? Short-term, long-term investment?
What got my attention in investments? Some people say kids watch movie, they don't learn anything from it. They can't know it's a movie. For me, there's a movie called Wall Street. This character called Garden Gecko, right? I watched that. I saw that movie when I was younger, and it got my attention. I said, hold up. These guys talking the numbers, and in one scene, Garden Gecko was passing a building, and he said, that building over there, my first big money I made wasn't I sold that building. I made $700,000 my profit off that one sale, and today that's a day's work. So it got my attention. Say, okay, I know it's a movie, but this have to be real. There's something about it. I was stockbroker, hedge fund, high frequency trading. I'm in Jamaica. I don't know nothing about stuff like that, right?
Yes.
But I saw the movie and it got my attention, and I just always remember it. And I said, I need to learn this. So I started reading about investments. A book that got my attention too was Richest Man in Babylon. What I learned from that is pay yourself first. So for investment, people think you have to make this large amount of money and then you invest it. That's not the way it works.
Okay.
You got to learn to pay yourself first. So you got a person that can make $100,000 a year and someone make $30,000 a year still have more money than the person make 100 grand a year. That's not an accident. It's because that person understands how to manage his or her finance, right?
Yeah.
Well, first, and then you use that money. Money is just a vehicle, right? You put it into something else. So with me, I always want to get into the stock market because of the movie Wall Street.
Mm-hmm.
When I get in it, just like anyone else, we don't know about blue chip, penny stocks, OTC, none of that. OTC over the counter, right? So most new investors back in my time when I get in it, they were doing penny stocks. And I was one of them who was doing penny stocks called pump and dump, right? And you're not gonna win, but the experience, you take the loss, you learn from it.
Yeah.
So that's what get me into investments. And it's been a bumpy ride, but
Mm-hmm.
for young people, I think the best thing to do is get in early while you're young because you have the time by your side. You could
Yeah.
lose 10, 20 grand when you're young and make it back, right? Because you're young. By the time you're at a certain age, when you're 50, 60, that's the wrong time to get into these high risk investments.
When it comes to me, exposure has a funny way of like piquing your interest. So, like, again, growing up in New York City, all I see is the drug dealers, people on drugs, the poverty, and stuff like that. But at the same time, I was gifted and talented. So I went to a school that was predominantly white children.
Mm.
And so for those hours, I'm in a whole different atmosphere. But somebody had a party, a birthday party. I don't know if you guys ever been to New York City, but if you can envision, every road or every street has a number and it goes in order. So I
Mm-hmm.
live on, let's say, 113th Street, and the party was on 60 something Street. So it's not that far away, maybe like 30 minutes. And when I walked into their apartment, I could not believe what I was seeing. I'm like, they go to the same school. How is their life and their room, everything they have on another level? Like they had gadgets and technology that I didn't even know existed. So I
Yes.
said, what does your family do? He's like, oh, my dad's an investor. And oh, they were either accountants. And I'm like, that just stuck
Ah.
out to me. And I'm like, an investor. And so now I'm like fascinated. I'm asking all my friends at school what
Yeah.
do their parents do, because now I'm curious. That's kind of what stuck out too. So I was like, well, that investing thing, I think that's for what I said at the time, white people or wealthy people. And I'm like, that's not for me. So I think I can do an accounting.
Yeah.
And doing accounting, I ended up saying I want to follow the money. I always knew, like, I have to figure out how am I going to help my people to figure out the money, because what we're doing now is not it. Like
Yeah.
welfare, public assistance, working these jobs, it's not cutting it. We're literally, as we say, working paycheck to paycheck, like you said, hand to mouth. So one of my bosses was into stocks. His life seemed so different. He seemed so much happier. So I was like, what are you into? He was talking about stocks. And so I guess through vibrations of the universe, I just thought they was giving out free magazines for investing. So I ordered it and I would read it. I didn't even know what they were talking about in there, right? I did not understand it, but I was like, well, maybe if I keep reading it, maybe one day
Mm-hmm.
it'll click. And then like around 2016, they came a school that would teach you how to trade. And I was like, man, this is my opportunity. I paid to be an accountant, and I'm still not making enough money. And so I went to that school, which introduced me to network marketing. But what I realized was network marketing still have to do with people. Investing is so personal with you and the money
Mm-hmm.
multiplying. Like for introverts like me who were nervous to talk to people, I'm like, oh, this is perfect. So I made 34 cents, right? My first trade. So being an accountant, I'm like, if I could take a penny to 34 cents,
Yeah.
wait a minute, hold up. This is game changer. My friends is looking at me like, 34 cents, give us that. I said, you know, a job for 34 cents. This is amazing. If I could do 34 cents, that means I could do $34. I can probably do 340. I can do 3,400. So I think with the accounting background and that, it just brought it together for me.
Your story, both of y'all's story, is so inspiring. Just to hear that Kirk watched the movie and started getting curious about investment. You just based on just visiting one of your classmates' home, like That's just inspiring. And a lot of us need to think like that. When I hear that, I think about something that one of my friends said to me one day. She said, "I didn't know I was poor because this was our life. This is what I saw around me. This is how we ate." Until I started to venture out, which is the importance of seeing new places and traveling and doing things, because you get to experience other type of living. If you're just in your little circle and everyone around you is doing life the same way that you've been doing it, then your brain is not gonna click that, hey, I can do something else. It's similar to me growing up in the inner city. The only thing that I saw everyone doing was hustling. You go to school, you get out of school, you go and hustle. And so when my friend said to me one day, she was like, "So now that you're graduated, what are you gonna do next?" I was like, "What do you mean? Work?" Uh, yeah, I was like baffled. I'm like, "What do you mean? What are you gonna do next?" And every time I tell that story, I think about how could I not know that there was something called university, something called college, and that's because nobody around me did that. And so it's important to venture out and see what else is out there for you to experience. So that's good. Um, and Kirk, I'm a part of a WhatsApp group that you've created around investment.
Mhm.
And even though I'm not actively engaged, I do see the posts. I do see people making money and speaking to this stock going up or this crypto coin going up. How did that even get started?
So the WhatsApp group making money, that's basically the name of it. That group was created while I was at the University of South Florida. A friend of
Okay.
mine that was in the chemical engineering department with me, he said to me, "Hey Kirk, man, I saw you be trading a lot, you're doing these stuff." I was in class back then at USF managing a big portfolio. So I couldn't pay attention in school. I said, "Hold up. This professor telling me when I leave college I'm gonna make 80,000 a year.
Mhm.
I'm doing that in one trade right now. It's hard for me to focus." But young and dumb, because even you think you know something, you really don't. You're young. Young people think that they know everything, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, he said to me, "Kirk, man, listen, let's create a group and teach people stuff that they know about what's going on." But I was tend to standoffish. Like whenever I go around people, like people in my business, it tends to go
Mhm.
left. So I said, "Man, I don't know about all that." You know. Eventually, I gave in. We created the group. Started with, I think it was like 6, 7 people, and everyone that I had, my friend want to join this. We became a family. So we have over like 200 people right now. Traders, they do stocks,
That's
crypto,
amazing.
currency, whatever thing that's tradable, they do it. Right?
Mm.
If you phone a stock and you say, "Hey, Kurt, what do you think about Baidu or Amazon or Netflix, whatever the company is, Facebook," I go do my research in it and I tell them my
Nice.
opinion. You do your research, you came to them what you come back to them what you find, and that's how we share ideas, share
Yeah.
information. And information is how people get rich, basically. You see? So yes, so it's an interested group. It's free. We don't charge no money for the group. We just share
Yeah.
ideas. And it's a good family.
So,
Yeah.
good point. I was going to use the word community, but you
Uh-huh.
mentioned family. Do you now see the value of having that family, considering initially you were like, I don't want to start it?
Definitely. I have so many stories of that group that I'll keep it a little. But anyway, this is one story I had about a group, right? My older brother is around 54 years old. My older brother is 54 years old. He was telling me about a company, this one particular company called Watt, WATT, right?
Okay.
He said, "Kirk, I came across this company. They have a technology that charge your phone without the phone being plugged in. If you're in the facility, in the
Mm.
environment, your phone will just charge. Like if I have the technology in here, my phone be here right now, just charging." I said, "What?" Exactly. The company and what? I said, "What?" I do my research on the company. I add my brother to the group, bring back the information to the group. I say, "Hey guys, listen, I came across this company. The stock been going from $4 to $3 every week. You know, if we put a certain amount of money in the stock, we can make this amount of money." Anyways, they did their research, came back, talked to me. Not everyone agree with the trade. I go ahead, I I did a trade,
Yes.
and it was a very rewarding trade. So again, family. My advice to anyone is this: if you going into trading and investment, yes, making money is important, but find yourself like-minded people, because
Yes.
you go about it by yourself. It's the free market. There's a high possibility you're gonna lose. Find yourself a
Mm.
group of people who are like-minded, who believe in what you're doing, and you guys tag team and do it together.
Even if they go on Reddit, right? Or one of those other
Hey,
platforms.
Reddit, you need a group, you need a team, you need a family. You know, each of
That's
you guys, you work off each other.
that's good. So Devona, do you think that like you mentioned a penny and you gain something on your penny, do you think that people who are like, well, investment is for people with a lot of money. I don't have a lot of money to start investment. What would you say to people like that, and how can they get started if they don't have that much money to start?
That's a great question because I didn't have much money to start either. You know, knowledge is power, information is power, especially having a team that doesn't you have the same purpose and goal, even though you may not have the money yet. I really sit down and be honest with people, and I to be honest, I trick them in the beginning. I do a little questionnaire and I say, hey, when's the last time you went to the movies? Because I went to see such and such movie. You know what? Last week I went and got my nails and hair done. What did you get? Can I see a picture of it? Because I'm thinking of a new design. You know, and they'll tell me, they'll show me, they're excited, and I'm like, so how much was that? And how much was that? Like, so is that going to bring you back anything? And so I sit down and I make them do a budget. And like for me, I sold my TV. I'm a really, really big video game head. I sold my video games because I also started to understand personal development and training your mind. And there are a lot of free things online. Like, thank goodness for things like YouTube and stuff. You can work on
Yeah.
your skill set while you're even deciding, you know what, I'm gonna sacrifice this Netflix. I speak to some people, they have like 10 subscriptions. I'm like, why do you need 10 subscriptions? Do you know what you could do with $10? And she is still 0.000, but if you don't understand that $20 can buy you 3 million of shares or something, and all you need is to move a couple of digits and you can make a couple $100. Like, but people need to see it. So I have this list of what I feel like is for people who have $10 to invest, people that have $500 to invest. There's like different avenues. And then, to be honest, like me coming across this thing called affiliate marketing, there's so many ways to make money for free.
Yes.
Right? Like, people don't understand, hey, you're talking about Netflix all the time. If you was in the right rooms with the right information, you probably could have had Netflix referral link in the beginning. Hey, if you
True.
share this to 10 people, we'll give you $100.
That
Right?
is
So there's a
true.
lot of different resources I have for people who have absolutely no money. And then again, you have to be honest, like, are you willing to make the sacrifice to make these small investments? Because we used to call penny make sense. Right? Like, hey, especially back in like 2010, if I had the same information, because I didn't get started really until 2018. If I knew what I knew now in 2010, I would have definitely been investing in Bitcoin like crazy, but I was late to the game.
Yes.
I'm not late anymore. Listen, I'm not about to mix the next few trades. It's about to take off, let me tell you. So, yeah, like I would tell people, you can save. You don't need a lot. Right? There's this thing called binary options. You can start with $10 and trade with $1 if you're disciplined enough with the right coach and the right team. Right? Because me, like I for my team, every Tuesday, I get on with them. We take 30-second trades. People probably don't even know. Hey, you're going to get 82% return on your trade in 30 seconds.
Let me go check my budget and see what I can stop spending on now. Because when you put it like that, when you break it down, like, hey, when did you do your nails? What party? What concert did you go to last month? Those are some of the ways that you can actually say, you know what, Usher is cool and all, but can I save this $300 and turn that into $6 in a month? as opposed to buying this concert ticket. So there are so many ways that you can save if you start to think of some of the ways that you're making in this moment, especially if you want better for yourself. So that's good. One of the things that the listeners will probably like, hey, I've heard about short-term investment, I've heard about long-term investment. What exactly is the difference between those two?
So short-term investment is like your day trade, your swing traders, right? They go in and out. They're not there to spend the entire time, but they don't go to the party forever. They go see what's going on, what's cracking, make that trade, get out, make the money, and they tell themselves how much they want to make. Like, okay, today my goal is to make $100. As long as I make $100, I'm exiting the market. You got to be disciplined, right? And that's the problem. A lot of people, they're just not disciplined. You got to be disciplined even in your personal life. Like me, I don't drink, I don't smoke,
Good for you.
I've never smoke. And I'm Jamaican. I've been around all my friends smoke in Jamaica and drink.
And that costs a lot of money.
Yeah. So in the market and in my life in general, I just apply me being disciplined. So as a short-term investor, you have to be disciplined.
Yeah.
You know, long-term you have to be disciplined too as a long-term investor. You got to see the future. For example, I bought Facebook stock at $17. Facebook now is trading, I think, 308. I don't even know the number. But when I purchased Facebook years ago, I had a team. It's called Main Street Investment Club. I was at the University of South Florida with that group. And we was short-term traders. We put our money together. Back in college, you get this thing called a net check. Right after they pay for your school and all that stuff, you get a net check. We all put our money together for my investment club, and we say, "Hey, we're going to invest for the future, right?" Our plan was for the future, but as I said, we are young and dumb. We think about, "Hey, let's get them short term. We can make 10 grand off a trade, 5 grand off a trade. If we do that 10, 20 times, we have money." But that's money in the grand scale of things. That's not money. What we should have done. Put all that money. We had 30,000. Put all that money in Facebook stock. Imagine you put 30 grand in Facebook stock at $17.
Beautiful.
Don't sell. Say, listen, go into the year 2024. Just lock this away. We're gonna open this account in the year 2024. So what's in that account, right? But as I said, you have to be disciplined. So short-term investors are investors who want to make money today. They go in, same day, get out.
Yeah.
Long-term investors is people who see the future of a company, right? They get in, hold on to the stock no matter what the market does. We're not looking at short-term play. We don't care about current news. We don't care about all that. We're looking at 2030, 2035, 2040, right? So hey, by 2040, Tesla is gonna be back at 10,000 a share or 5,000, right? So for example, Warren Buffett company. I don't know how much it's trading for right now, but it's ridiculous. One share Berkshire Hathaway, they got A and B, right? Ridiculous price. But back in 1960s, that was pennies to the dollar, right? Right. So long-term investors, you have to be disciplined to go long-term. You're thinking years ahead. Short-term investors, they're thinking about the day or tomorrow.
But short-term investors, I would say they still need to be disciplined because if they say
both parties have to be disciplined, both of them. If you're gonna invest, you have to be disciplined.
Yeah,
and that's what separates the haves from the have-nots. I'm still learning. You say I don't drink, I don't smoke, but I'm still
learning.
I'm still learning, right?
So Devona, like for a beginner looking to invest, what are some of the investment vehicles that are accessible to people without a financial background?
Definitely what he was talking about, discipline. I always tell people, hey, you have to start with yourself. Like get into investing and especially day trading in the beginning. It's going to test who you are. Like you're going to learn who you are. I think that's better way. You're going to learn if you're aggressive. You're going to learn if you're greedy, a gambler type personality. So I tell people they probably should do some type of evaluation first and really talk about themselves. Like, what's their connection with money? Like, are you somebody that's always scared to spend? Are you somebody that just spends without even thinking about it? And usually when I ask those questions, I'll kind of direct them which way I think that they go. But for the most part, I try to start people with the smallest type of investments, which is why I educate in day trading. because I feel like there's so many avenues now. Like before, you had to make like a lot of money to get in, but once they allow retail traders in, like there are accounts you can start with $10. Now, I'm not going to tell nobody to start with $10, right? You need some room to breathe to actually be able to handle the L's because you don't win everything. And I think that's the misconception. Like there are people trying to sell it to people that, hey, if you join my club or my signals chat, we're 100% accurate. Like, no, there's nothing that's 100%. But with risk management, you really can do well. So day trading, high frequency trading, penny stocks, like he said, like getting your feet wet. Like you can do paper trading to practice. That's another thing too. Like there's a lot of ways to practice what you are learning with what we call play money before you actually can put up your live money. There's other companies as well that if you pay a small fee, like that's kind of how I help my students get extra capital. Like there are companies you can pay $73 and get access to 10,000, right? Most people try to utilize it, but because they're not disciplined, they've been trying to trade with $50. Now they got access to 100K for $500, and they're like, oh my goodness. Then they what we call over leverage. They risk too much. So, but I like the fact that instead of me trying to snail you through it, like here's $50, you can make 1% because everything I feel like is in percent based. But if you can learn to make 1% off of $50, and I tell them, hey, yes, it doesn't seem like a big return right now, but if I can teach you how to make 1% off of $50, then I can teach you how to make 1% off of any number. Because once you learn the actual skill set, it's just getting you now access to capital. So again, let's start with sacrificing. I go over your budget. So I tell people, hey, we're going to have to be honest. Like this is serious business. You're looking to change your generational wealth. Like we have to make changes internally. So that's first. Like I tell them, hey, do you drink water? Do you work out? Do you run? What time are you waking up? If you're waking up at 9:30, you're late for life. You're late. You're late. You're too late. The world is already moving and shaking. You probably done got 5 emails, 100 Instagram messages, and you didn't even tend to yourself. So it's really having a lot of those personal conversations because I feel like you can, like, to be honest, for me, like the skill set of day trading or investing is not hard. I don't feel like once you learn the skill, it's hard. Like it's simply of, do I know how to put the transaction in? Do I know how to withdraw my money when I win? Right? Do I have a strategy when to get in and get out? All right. So we do have a list of things. So my thing is day trading first because it's such more capital. You can invest even in stocks for a small amount because again, if you know the math of, all right, this share is worth a penny. Well, if I spend $1, then how many pennies or how many shares will I have?
Yeah.
Right. If that penny ever went to $1,000, which is the long game, right? Because that's another thing too. Like, hey, can you invest just $10 today? There's a stock called ICE. Right. Here's $10. Take it. If you just don't think about it, let it sit for 5 years. Would you be okay with that? Like, I think people don't realize you can invest with $10.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. So how can, because I hear you mention the word risk a lot. How can people assess their risk tolerance? And what investment strategies that they can take to protect their investment?
Well, I created risk plans. I feel like a lot of the risk plans I see out there, and then again, anything that's given to the masses is usually not the right information. It's the information. So I realized I love spreadsheets. Again, I'm a nerd. So I created risk management plans. I feel like, you know what, people are busy, especially for the age range I tried to focus on, which is people I feel like they're like, hey, this is your last chance.
Yeah.
Okay, you're in your 40s, your 50s, your 60s. It's probably your last chance. So I created it to where you can literally plug in your capital and it'll give you the numbers of what to stay within. Right? But it's really, to me, percentage is everything. Like stick to your risk plan. I tell people, hey, if you can always manage to never risk more than 1%, and if I have to teach them how to calculate it, then I will. But if you can manage 1% risk always, right? It doesn't matter. I don't care if you make 2% today, 3%, 5%. You're control has to stay the same when you're thinking about your losses. Because if I can consistently stay at 1% and make 3%, well, then guess what? I didn't have a loss. I'm up 2%.
Yeah.
Some people work the reverse. They're very much into, I risk 3% today, 30% tomorrow. And I'm like, that's not, you're gambling. All right. This is actually a profession that if you can really get disciplined and figure out have your risks together before you get in. That's one. And I think a lot of people, first of all, I think mentorship is not utilized enough.
Yes.
That is not utilized enough. I think there are a lot of people that are overcharging and they are scamming people. They're just regurgitating the information, but not really educating. But you really do your research and you can tell like when people are educating, like for instance, like the flashy stuff don't work. The flashy stuff attracts the wrong people. Right. So I'm like, if I can, like when I first made my first big money, I paid my rental for a year.
Wow.
Right. I feel like that can motivate somebody than me showing, oh, I bought a new car. You
Yeah.
know? Right. So it's just like, guys, we gotta talk about the other side of it. So that way, when we're ready and we have the skill, we can go crazy instead of gambling. Like, oh God, I need to pay rent today, so I'm gonna use my check and invest. Like, no.
Yeah. So I've always been a long-term investor. So I buy stocks, let it sit there, don't look back at it. That is how I normally approach things. But I became a short-term investor in 2020 when crypto was just blazing, everything was just going, and I'm like, I gotta get in on this. And so I got in, I bought Dogecoin. I made a lot of money from that because I got in before it started to rise. And then I saw people saying, oh, they made 500,000, they made this amount. And I'm like, oh, so if I leave it there, then I stand a better chance. And the fact that it was just going like crazy, I pulled and then I put back more money in. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be disciplined. I'm gonna let it stay. I'm not gonna look. And then I sat there and I watched my money just leaving. And I'm like, okay, discipline unique. Do not touch it. And day by day, I'm like, it's disappearing. It's disappearing until it disappeared for good.
Well, it's not for good. I mean, once you understand the cycle, right? When it comes to crypto, Bitcoin is the leading coin, right?
Yeah.
I have to get into Bitcoin early. I wasn't of the guys who getting early. Not gonna talk much on that topic, but anyway, I was one of the guys who getting Bitcoin early. My friends getting real early, and I was there. It's like you there when they were cooking this food up, they killing the chicken, picking the chicken. I was there. I saw they kill the chicken, pluck the chicken. The conversation. I was at the table. I was invited. I was at the table when Bitcoin was pennies to the dollar.
Yeah.
But I look at them at that time. There was no Coinbase. There was no, crypto.com, no Binance. Those never existed at the time, right? There was Silk Road, or if you want to, Bitcoin back then used for different things.
Yeah.
Right. But I was there, and I heard my friends told me, listen, this thing is going to be huge. I said, man, listen, they're scamming you. That's what you're getting scammed. I'm not doing that. Then these guys was just buying up the coins, buying it up. And I'm looking at them buying it. I'm just there I know it's like a fool, because I believe in my heart it was a scam. They're getting scammed.
Yes.
Right? One day I sit down and I say, hold up. They were talking about the news talking about Bitcoin. I said, well, is that the same thing these guys was doing back at USF? Yeah. And then Bitcoin was I think it was like 200, then shot to $500, $1,000 per coin. That's early times, right? And I did get into it. Yeah, I get in it, right? But my thing, I was like, this thing is not going to go to no 20, 30, 40. No, I'm looking at Bitcoin at $64,000.
Yes.
It's just like, when you read a white paper, Satoshi, he talk about Bitcoin going to $1 million per token. And on the future, if you look at the future right now, what Tesla is doing with the robots and the driverless cars and stuff like that, everything is digital.
Yes.
What is Bitcoin? Digital currency.
Mm.
So it's not only Bitcoin, there's other coins like your Dogecoin. It's called altcoins. Those are other coins different from Bitcoins, right? Your Ethereum, your Litecoin, Jasmy, Anchor, put money. So you if Bitcoin is at 60,000, hey, I can't afford a Bitcoin, it's too high. You don't have to buy Bitcoin. Not
Yeah.
saying you should go and buy crypto, but there's a lot of ways you can do this. And back to your stuff where you said Dogecoin is going down, and no, you don't lose it. Again, you got to be disciplined. You see, it comes down to being disciplined again. Once
Yes.
you understand the game, you don't panic, right? So every 4 years, there's a Bitcoin halving. Whenever the halving happen, the Bitcoin go on a crazy run where they do 1,500%, 2,000, 3,000%. If you look at the history, the first halving was in 2012. Bitcoin go from 50 cents to $1,000. The second halving happened in what? 2016, when everyone started to talk about it. Bitcoin go from 250 to $20,000. The third halving just happened back in May, when Bitcoin goes from I would say what Bitcoin entered the halving at what,
30 something.
was it 30 something thousand?
Or maybe it was 10.
It was, I think it was.
It dropped. It went down real low and then it just went back up.
Yeah. But anyways, whenever there's a halving, back to your Dogecoin, there's an 80% correction after it peak.
Okay.
After it peaks, so what happened? You might get in at the top, what, Dogecoin at 80 cents,
Yeah.
70 cents when it was doing a correction going down back. But eventually, there's going to be a Bitcoin halving again next 4 years from now. There's going to be a bull cycle again when the coins might return to their all-time high, or higher than where it was before, but you just got to be patient.
What's a bull cycle?
There's a bear market and bull market. Bear cycle goes for 4 years, where after open Bitcoin halving, we enter a bull cycle where Bitcoin price explode, right? As I said, Bitcoin is the leading coin. If Bitcoin goes from 30,000 to 100 grand, it peak, the altcoins is going to follow as well. So that's the bull cycle.
Okay.
After the bull cycle, we have a bear market where the coins have to make a correction back to their lows. No, they might create what we call a higher low. So let's say Bitcoin go from 30,000 to 100 grand. Bitcoin might never see back 30,000 again. It might drop to $50,000.
Okay.
That's going to be the new higher lows, right? So your Dogecoin probably was trading at like 0.01. In the bull market, up to 80 cents. It probably not see 0.01 again. Probably go to like 0.09 or 10 cents. That's what you call a higher lows. That's the bear market. So in the bear market, create a higher low, right? 4 years later, because the bear cycle goes for 4 years as well.
Okay.
4 years come around, the bull market comes back around again. Bitcoin probably go to $200,000. Dogecoin might well go to $1.50, $2. But Bitcoin have a set supply where there can only be 21 million Bitcoin created, right? Right. So Dogecoin, the problem with Dogecoin is that the supply is large. Is 100 billion, or I really don't know the exact number. If you go to Coin Market Cap, it shows you what the number is, right? So Dogecoin have like 100 billion coins. So because of 100 billion coins, the overall crypto market cap is like 2.1 trillion. You will not see a $5 Dogecoin or a $3 Dogecoin based off the supply, right?
Okay.
But you might see a $1.50 Dogecoin, because another thing about Dogecoin, you got to look who is behind the coin. You got Elon Musk.
Yes.
Right? Elon Musk is the juggernaut when it comes to promotion and marketing stuff, right? Because before Elon Musk, Dogecoin was a joke. No one take Dogecoin seriously. They was giving it away for free at Coin Exchange.
That's true.
A website called Coin Exchange back in the days. You used to get Dogecoin basically for free, right?
That's good. I'm listen. This is somewhat advanced investment tips, but I'm learning a lot right now. And the key word again is discipline, because clearly I lacked discipline because I ended up pulling at the low, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna watch this just evaporate from my eyesight right in front of me no more. So I ended up losing a lot. But Devona, is there anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, Nick, I want to go back to what you were saying about what you were like, the process you were going through. I always tell all investors, learn how to read charts, the financial charts. So many people do not know how to read it, so they can't capitalize, because you should have an exit strategy for your short term and your long term, right? So what I tell people when it comes to, like, especially cryptos and things like that, like for instance, when you got in, right? Probably got in at the height of things. So the key thing is to read the chart so you can recognize where the previous lows were. You always want to get in at the base of things. So for instance, I don't know what you started the investment with, but I always tell people have a certain percentage, because I to be honest, that's also something I'm hoping I can educate people with, or change their thinking with their long-term investing, is knowing how to finesse both sides of it. Right. So when it comes to my long-term investing, I understand that there is, like he said, there's a bear run and a bull run. I just call it the cycle flow. Like what goes up must come down. What goes down must go back up. So if you're able to read the chart and you know that, hey, I'm getting in something early, let's say you got in at 10 cents instead and it went up to 80. I'm not going to, I never tell people, hey, withdraw everything, is up, you're winning. No, like you can withdraw 30%, 40%, but keep your base in it. Because what's going to happen is when it goes into the bear market and it starts heading back towards that low and you're watching your money decrease, you would have already took a nice profit out, but you're still leaving yourself in the game, because when those bull runs happen, it's happening fast and you do not want to miss the train. But if you're talking about a 10, 20-year process, I show people like, hey, for the first 3 years, you were up in profit. You can take a nice chunk out, leave your percentage in doing that bear run, right? You have profit already taken out. You have your base in there. Now you're going to have actually more money to get back in when he's talking about those higher lows, right? And reading the charts is going to help you guys. But a lot of people skip the chart training. They're like, I listen to the news. I wait for Elon Musk, and I'm like, hey, if you know that was a low down there and we hit a high, we have to do a correction. And it's gonna probably correct at least 50 to 75% where you can get in again. And now you have profit, you have more to invest. So definitely learn to be disciplined, girl. You gotta hold it, because if you're already in there. Oh, and that's another thing too, like diversify, because I think that was partly like diversifying your portfolio. Like, don't put everything. Even I was thinking about what Kirk said, like we could have put the whole 30K. I'm like, maybe we could have put like 20K. Put something else into something else, because investing is a risk. You don't know, even if you got the best insight information for a company, it could tank. But you want to be able to, like, which is why I say do a little bit of day trading. Because a lot of people don't have money, and if you can make money every day, that's great.
That's good.
You know, because guess what? On the daily chart, the same way we talk about the bear and bull runs, they have those same type of runs every single day. But I do think long-term investing is super important.
I want to add something to the long-term investment too, you know, because I get older now, so I sort of play it safe as well, right?
Okay.
So if you own a stock, and this is thing people don't know. There's a thing called cover call and secure cash put. No, secure cash put is when you tell in the market at what price you want to buy a particular stock. For example, let's say Facebook is trading at $10 a share, which is not, just for example, right? Let's say Facebook is trading at $10 a share. But you telling the market, listen, I will buy 1,000 shares of Facebook at $7. You see, you could write a secure cash put for that price, and they will give you pay you a commission, right? They paid you to buy the stock, so you probably get a commission for 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 10,000. Depends on how much money you have you're working with, right? So that's playing it safe. So it's just when you buy options, someone write that contract. You're buying it from someone. You're buying it from the cover call guys. So secure cash, when you tell the market what price you want to buy the stock. Cover call, the opposite of that, you telling the market what price you're willing to lose the stock at, sell your stock at, and they give you a commission for that as well.
So that's a good way to manage risk. That's a good way. Okay.
But for you to do that, you already for the cover call, you have to own the stock at least 100 shares. In each contract, there's 100 shares.
Okay.
Right? I always tell people, getting these stocks early, you can own 1,000 shares, right? 1,000 shares. So when these stocks start to go up, you don't really have to sell your stock. You can just live off cover calls.
Okay.
You got weekly salary off cover calls, right? I know guys that making thousands of dollars monthly off cover calls. They don't sell their stock. And if they do lose the stock in the cover call trade, they write a secure cash book and get back the stock. These are things that people don't know about, and it is amazing. It's zero chance of you losing, literally.
All right, that's something I need to learn about then. So guys, what are some of the platforms or apps that people can use to start their investment?
I like TD Ameritrade, which is no Charles Schwab. I think it's the name of it. Yeah. I like Think or Swim. It's no Charles Schwab. I'm old school. I've been in from TD Ameritrade, right? So TD Ameritrade is what I go with. I really for crypto, Coinbase is good, Binance is good. But when it comes to the crypto side, again, I'm a long-term guy. I really don't keep my money on the exchange like that. Right?
You use the wallet?
Yeah. I keep money off the exchange because anything can happen. Exchange get taken down a lot, get hacked. Your money. You don't want to play that game. If
See,
you
another
don't own
thing
the
for me
keys,
to learn, guys. Listen. Okay.
if you don't own the keys, it's not your coin.
It's a lot of gems. Okay, that's good.
Well, the company I work for, we have our own app. It's called NVU. So you can take different courses. We actually cover anything that brings in residual income. So we have courses on like Airbnb, Turo, things like that. But the main focus is the financial literacy. So it goes over trade ideas, and really teaching how to read the charts. Like that's how focus is helping people. So that way they can navigate really any market. Like you'll know when the crypto's on the bull run. If you're into Apple or Tesla stock, you'll kind of be able to read the charts along with some other things to kind of give you an extra advantage. And then obviously being with a community. I do mostly everything through Discord for my students.
Okay.
So that's where we're at. Trading View is what we use to mark up the chart, to analyze the markets. I actually use Binance too for cryptos. I use Coinbase usually to do transactions. But I did start with them a long time ago, but I think I got turned off when something happened with XRP when I a while ago. But other than that, like those are the main sites for those type of investing.
Okay, that's good. So recommended or not recommended? Robinhood.
They robbing the hood, literally.
Not recommend. I don't like Robinhood.
I lost a lot of money because of Robinhood. Okay,
robbing the hood. Listen to the name.
Exactly.
Listen to the name.
Listen,
I remember when Dogecoin was going. And it was going, and I'm like, yes, I'm ready to pull now. And I'm trying to pull, and I'm like,
they will freeze your transaction. They will freeze it. You can't do nothing. They'll
couldn't get out. Yes, I couldn't get out.
Yeah.
And everybody was on Reddit complaining, I can't sell. And I'm like,
they do it for stocks too. If a stock is running up, you know, because they work. I personally believe they work with the guys. We are, you know, if you remember what's the name of that stock that went up like crazy? What a toy company called again? What's the name of it? GameStop.
Okay.
You want to know what
that movie out of that? That was good.
GameStop.
They did people dirty. So
yeah, they did. Okay. Yes. All right.
So guys, powerful. Yeah, stay away from that one.
Stay away from that one. Okay. Let me go. I need to go get my money out of there. All right. So the last question on investment. This has been really great. We probably do need a second episode just on insurance because investment is big. And a lot of gem has been dropping, and I'm enjoying the conversation because I'm learning a lot. But what are some of the tips for making smart investment choices in an era dominated by social media and get rich quick schemes? Like you hear that a lot. You can do this. You see people actually hijacking people's social media and marketing. Like, what are some of the tips that you would give to people?
What I would say to people is just you need a team.
Okay.
Don't go at it by yourself. You need a team. You need to be disciplined. Okay, and control your emotions. right? When it comes to investment, I always tell people you can't have emotions. You can't get attached to money, right? It's just money. Nobody loses. It just change hands. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hard pill to swallow when I say that, but it is reality. Make have several sources of income. Don't just depend on one thing. You see?
Yeah.
And as I
Yeah.
said, you need a team, you need family,
Yes.
right? So you need people around you, and you need to be disciplined and control your emotions. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I would say people do not do enough research.
Yeah.
And so I usually say, hey, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. There's using terms like, I guarantee you that you're going to get these results. I'm 100% accurate. I'm the GOAT. Like people who are really looking to help you, they're going to be honest with you. They should be able to show you some type of like resources that they're using to actually provide the education you're looking to get. And again, a lot of things, if you really do the research, because I learned a lot researching on my own, right? As far as looking it up. But most importantly, like he said, like find a team. And you'll know the difference between somebody who's feeding you knowledge versus just giving you a lot of fluff.
Yes.
You know, like if you hear somebody, like I always say, like, watch out for the preachers, in my opinion. They do a lot of, to me, fake motivating. A lot of preaching, like, hey, we're gonna give you this training today. And they spent 40 minutes of the training preaching.
Yeah.
It's a setup. You should be able to have pen and paper, walk away with pages of notes when you're done. So sometimes it is taking that risk to invest in yourself, and you might not get the best mentor, the best team the first time around. Because my first journey would, most of us want to quit the first time around. It's not pretty. It's ugly. It's vicious. It's, like, let's be honest, what it is. But if you can remember, like, what's more vicious than 9 to 5s? Being broke, being poor, not trying. We live in so much fear. So it's like, I'm trying to get people to see, like, that fear alone is going to keep you trapped. So you can't be scared of the loss. But if you don't spend all your rent money, and you can invest $10, you just went and bought some new pants for $80 that you didn't need. You went out to eat 5 times this week, maybe 3 times in one day.
Yeah.
And how much food is going out, or maybe you use Uber Eats a lot. I'm like, no Uber Eats for 9 months. You change your life.
That's good. That's good. So for the people who actually have student loans and are probably waiting around for Joe Biden to forgive it, what are some ways that they can actually say, you know what, let me not wait on the government. I'm going to start investing in this portfolio and hope to reap some rewards so I can pay off my student loan even quicker, or even their house or whatever they have. I know you gave me some tips just now, but can you get into the mind of someone with a student loan and what they can actually do with investment to pay that off?
So I have student loans. I have student loans. I can speak from my experience.
You don't want to pay it off. Just kidding. Go on.
Hey, listen, I pay the minimum. Okay. But me personally, I will it's called defer my payments. The way I see things like this, I'm a risk taker, right? I take calculated risk. I view things differently. I've been working for myself for many, many years now. I don't have a job, right? My biggest fear is a job. If I have to work, I will work. But that's my biggest fear. I'm not lazy. I work hard. I work hard, and a person work a job. I'm always working 7 days a week. I work, right? So my thing is this: if you have a student loan, you got to focus a way to make money first, and then you think about your loan. You know what I'm saying? You can't be broke and thinking about paying these people the $60,000, $70,000, $100,000. You are broke. You got to find a way to change your financial situation, and then you worried about the loan. Okay.
Okay. And would you take a different approach, Devona?
No, that's exactly what I did. I deferred it. Thankfully, I was in school. I'm 43, so my loans were actually qualified and they were taken away. So that was probably like an amazing thing. But Yeah, like I deferred them things to the willful of, and they probably be still deferred today if they didn't get written off. But I feel like when it comes to loans or debt and stuff like that, like this, like credit is a big thing, and especially the United States. But I feel like you can still make moves with bad credit. So like, don't let that be the focus, because what you focus on grows. So if I keep focused on that debt, well, I'm probably gonna make more of it when I should spend my time focused on how can I get my income up. And again, education, paying for education, like paying for the right information, being around the right people. And then there are some people like us that care so much, we give away a lot of free gems. And a lot of people don't tune in. So I think it's learning how to have an open mind, be like child, like really want to learn, like really seek out the information, and it'll come to you.
Yeah.
Like I really believe in what you go looking for, you'll find it. So
And I like to tell you, deferring your loan doesn't affect your credit as well. I happen to have extremely well credit.
yeah.
Okay, so you could defer your loan and your credit be okay. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean like far as credit cards and like other things, people have a lot of debt.
Yeah.
They're so focused on it, but yeah, you can fix it. Like there's so many things you can do.
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome conversation. I am actually loving it. I myself have learned a lot. So before I end, I do have some rapid fire questions for you. Are you ready?
All right.
Go ahead.
All right. So stocks or real estate?
Real estate.
Real estate.
Real estate. Well, you guys are investors in stocks.
Go into
about
the
the
stocks,
land.
but the exit game is real estate.
The best age to start investment.
Oh man.
As soon as you can read.
As soon as you can read. Yeah.
Short-term or long-term investment?
Long term. I'm a long term guy. She's short term.
I'm so torn because I love both. I'm gonna say short term because I'm thinking about the little people, the early people. I'll say short term. They need money now.
Yeah.
Biggest financial mistake young people make?
Oh man.
Not investing.
Not investing. Yeah.
Those are great. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I have. This is one of the best conversations because I do believe that as young people and even older people, we do need to learn about investment. We don't do it enough, especially in our culture as Black people. So it's important that we learn as much as we can. We talked about long-term, short-term investment today. We talked about some of the apps that you can actually use to invest. We talked about bull and bear market, which is something that always puzzled me. And I got a little bit more insight into what that looks like. So if you heard something that intrigued your interest and you want to learn more, Devona is a mentor in investment. Kirk has a whole platform that he has a family of people that share tips and tricks about investment, and they really operate as a family because I'm a part of that group. So if you need any advice, their information is going to be tagged to this video. Reach out to them, get started. I am new to this. I don't have enough knowledge on investment as yet, but if you have any question, I will be happy to answer them because I am interested in learning as much as possible to secure my son's future. If you're looking for a life or career coach, that's where my expertise lies. I am a John Maxwell certified coach. I am here to help you to move the needle from good to great. So reach out to me on my website at www.yaniquepwalters.com or find me on Instagram at YaniquePWalters. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to this.
Wake up to a dawn that whispers hope, chasing dreams with heart and scope. Unique, it guides us through the strife, building blocks of a better life. Money flows like rivers wide, budget smart, keep your pride. Entrepreneurial spirit high, reach for stars, touch